Hello and welcome back to the FEH banner review, where we talk about a new heroes banner with no actual new heroes on it. You may be confused as to why the setup looks different this time around. Well, that's because we went over budget here at the studio with the Shayne video, so today's video had to be cut back. Shameless plug in the comments and description if I remember. Yet the quality of the video remains, because there is none to lose. Today, we have a brand new RocketGal banner featuring a really interesting lineup of characters to celebrate the 35th anniversary of Fire Emblem. Can you believe it, guys? The anniversary? Just a week away? And as per tradition, I will be using this coveted line graph that may or may not be a line graph at the end of the day to rank the brand new RocketGal banner. Today's ranking will be based on how much hype and aura the banner has, and if you want hype moments and aura in your life, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks from your super bun pal. First up, we have Naga, and she's a flying colorless dragon this time around. And last time around, and last time around, except that was blue, so not last time around, but you get what I mean, right? I'm moving on. Let's see. Naga comes with Ancient Majesty, which is a slaying dragon effectiveness weapon that inflicts frozen, guard, and attack res debuffs to nearest foes at the start of the player phase and enemy phase, gets a bunch of stats, true damage, and halves % base damage reduction. Wow, that is a really short weapon. I'm pretty sure that means it's bad. Ooh, foreshadowing. Ooh, foreshadowing. She also comes with Divine God Fang, which has built-in guidance, grants dragon effectiveness, null dragon effectiveness, and empathy to herself and allies at the start of the player phase and enemy phase, and gets stats, breath, and 7 true damage and damage reduction during combat. You know, if this weren't 2025, I would have said this unit was pretty good. In 2024, it could be worse, I guess, maybe. The dragon effectiveness is really useful, at least against Valentine's Ray, who normally takes 0 damage, but will now take 0 damage. The debuffs aren't too bad, though. Okay, well, guard is kind of bad, but frozen is pretty useful when it can stick. I just don't know how often that'll be the case, though. But you know, for a 2023 unit, she's doing better than the average 2022 unit, which is saying a lot in the year of 2021. I genuinely have nothing to say about this unit. She just seems fine, I guess, but she doesn't really seem to do that much in support or combat and just is way too straightforward to really comment on. I'm actually really stumped. Naga also comes with Dragon's Roar, Attack Res Scout, and Attack Res Near Trace, which is new and will probably never be used because it's also ill. Maybe it's also because I'm spoiled by skills like Mastery and Blue Skies and Emblem Sigurd, but Trace B slots feel really bad these days, especially since they keep putting Kanto into C slots and A slots, and maybe it doesn't help that it's attack and res based, so it's already so much more niche, but hey, Dragon's Roar is at least pretty cool since it's the only dragon special we have. Don't skip ahead, don't skip ahead, don't skip ahead. And other than that, that sure is Naga. I know I basically said nothing about her, but I don't actually feel like there's anything to say about her. It really feels like this unit was supposed to release last year, but they just sat on a release without meaningfully upgrading her to 2025 standards. But if I had to say anything remotely positive about Naga Fire Emblem heroes. Next, there's Gotoh, and he's a Dragon Tome unit hybrid thingy. The only thing I really picked up on was his introduction of, "My name is Gotoh." I'm sorry, I just think it's really funny how he says it. Let's see. Gotoh comes with Fundament, which is a slaying tome that grants 80% AoE damage reduction, dull all, and attack res bonuses to himself and allies at the start of the player phase and enemy phase, inflicts a bunch of attack and res penalties on the foe during combat, gets 20% res-based true damage and damage reduction, a guaranteed follow-up, and restores 7 HP to himself after combat. He also comes with Gift of Guidance, which grants himself 10 visible attack, defense, and res, -2 cooldown to himself at the start of the turn, as well as -1 cooldown to allies and an additional -1 cooldown to magic and staff allies, nullifies all penalties to himself during combat, has built-in guard, and has % base damage reduction. See, maybe I'm just used to all the nonsense in the game, but am I crazy? I sure am. I am not impressed with Gotoh. It's weird because you'd think a unit with at least 15 effects would be pretty good, but no, I'm just not feeling it with him at all. Maybe it's because they're just standard par for the course effects, but it doesn't seem like he does anything that impressive, even with everything in his kit. It feels like the same issue with Naga, where both of these units seem really good if you don't know how to read, but unfortunately, I can, and I use that ability on the worst things imaginable. Fire Emblem heroes.
My name is Gotoh.
Gotoh also comes with Glacies, Pulse Up Ploy, and a brand new B-slot in Attack Res Havoc, which inflicts -7 attack and res, Sabotage, and Schism at the start of the player phase and enemy phase, grants Canto 1 if enough foes have Sabotage on them, inflicts attack and res penalties on the foe during combat, and grants 20% res-based true damage. I'm not gonna lie, I think Attack Res Havoc is the actual highlight of Gotoh. Being able to inflict a bunch of stat penalties is one thing, but the Schism just completely ruins Pathfinder and Brave support. You can't even remove the penalty without also removing the bonuses due to the clause Schism has. I think IS saw all the people using Bride Catria and Winter Cordelia again with Emblem Lyn and Ymir and said, well, we can't have that because they're more than 2 weeks old, you gotta buy the new thing. And this will definitely mess up that strategy because it works on both phases. But it'll be okay once they release the counter skill to Havoc so we could get Bride Catria again. Wait, that's just Freyr.
My name is Gotoh.
And other than that, that sure is
Gotoh.
I can't say I'm all that impressed about Gotoh as a unit, but Havoc is a pretty neat skill that I really want to own. Or should I say it's kinda neat. And then there's Medeus, and he's the demote this time around, and you wouldn't have thought that considering his art. They really did not need to go that hard over here. Let's see. Medeus comes with Ancient Betrayal, which is a 19 might Dragonstone that grants On Guard, Dull All, and attack and res bonuses to himself and allies at the start of the player phase and enemy phase, inflicts a bunch of attack, defense, and res penalties during combat, grants upwards of 20 true damage and damage reduction based on the number of present staff and dragon allies on the map, and has built-in Scowl. For a demote, this is pretty decent, but you may be wondering if that means good by demote standards or good by I want to use this outside of PvE standards. People will be upset with my answer no matter what. Also, fun fact, the last time a demote came with a PRF was Female Shez over 2.5 years ago. Wait, what's fun about that? Medeus also comes with Glacies, Attack Ploy, and Defense Res Scowl, which is perfectly okay. Scowl is at least something new, and it's a good stat combination too, which is weird because IS tends to give us the worst combinations ever if they can. Like, they could have given us attack and speed, or god forbid attack defense, but they decided to be nice this time around. Actually, IS never gives us attack and speed skills on demotes, so that kinda checks out. This is the one time that's a good thing. And other than that, that sure is Medeus. He's pretty cool for a demote, and I joked about it earlier, but he's honestly not bad whatsoever. He has decent support and pretty nice combat that might do a fair bit of work if properly invested into. But is it good enough to beat Emblem Sigurd? No. Well, at least I'm assuming probably not because... Override. And last on the banner, we have Attuned Tiki, who might actually be the only good unit on this banner. Also, this is the first unit in the game to have 2 asset versions, which probably means more characters will be due for that in the future as well. God help us all. Let's see. Attuned Tiki comes with Ancient Voice, which is a slaying dragon effectiveness weapon that grants Bulwark, penalty neutralization, and speed and defense bonuses at the start of the player phase and enemy phase, grants true damage and damage reduction based on 20% of her defense stat, Tamara Sandstorm, aka 150% of her defense as attack when her special goes off, and Hardy Bearing if she meets a defense check. She also comes with Love for All, which grants allies within 3 spaces stats and a special jump of 1 before the foe's first attack, grants between 40% to 80% area of effect damage reduction, more stats during combat, upwards of 14 true damage reduction, and up to 3 special jumps if she's near enough allies, as well as neutralizing all damage reduction when her special goes off. That's a lot of stuff that she has in her kit, and instead of talking about Tiki, I want to talk about baby Camilla for a second. Camilla just dropped on the last banner, which is still currently active at the time of this video, and she's been the premier melee nuke for a bit. Now Tiki really just came into the game to go, I hate you, to a unit that's not even 2 weeks old. Man, that sure is something, ain't it? something stupid. But if I had to fight Camilla, I'd also probably be saying, kill yourself. Although she'll probably be able to deal with a lot of stuff in general as a frontliner. The damage reduction she gets from AoEs puts Sigurd in another bind because he won't be able to do anything to her. Her damage output's also pretty good because of the defense scaling, and she can eat a lot of hits because of all the true damage reduction. The only thing I'm slightly worried about is her speed, because she was failing to double Cavassier and Bernadetta, but that could probably just be patched up easily enough. Worst case scenario, you could just slap Emblem Erica's ring on her and she'll probably be fine. But if you don't have Emblem Erica, then go stand in the middle of the road and let a car run over you. Tiki also comes with Distant Bonus Doubler, Edge Scales, and a brand new Dragon Special in Dragon Flame, which is a 4 cooldown special that boosts your damage by 80% of your defense, heals back 30% of your max HP when it triggers, and grants 40% damage reduction on the foe's next attack. It's a pretty cool special, and I think I like it over Dragon's Roar because there's no res check, which means most dragons aren't locked out of using it. Too bad every dragon released in the past year and a half that isn't in armor don't have actual defense stats, but who's paying attention to that? Ha ha ha, pain. There's also Res Scowl Echo, and it's just okay. It grants 4 res during combat and Scowl if you meet the res check. I can't imagine there being a lot of units wanting to use it since they have better Echo options most of the time. Like, Tiki herself doesn't even want it over Distant Counter Echo or Null Counter Echo. Same with the other infantries for the most part. The Flyers have Soaring Echo, the Armors have Distant Counter Echo as well, and the Cavalry have Lull Echo. It's just a lot of competition in general, but it's still an Echo, so it can only be so bad. Deathblow clears it. I love Deathblow. And other than that, that sure is Tiki. She has a lot of stuff going for her as a unit, which is great because I felt like the rest of the banner was extremely lacking comparatively. Or maybe because it's been so mid up to this point, I'm gaslighting myself into thinking she's good. I'm British. We also had a Fae channel, but there really isn't a whole lot to really delve into, which is why this is not a Fae channel video, so I decided to save it for the lightning round section, starting with Grand Hero Battle Zane that we know nothing about. Is he good? I don't know. Is he bad? Kill yourself. 108 free 3 stars and 4 stars. I mean free summons with the revivals. A free legendary hero summon featuring only the bad legendaries. Some banners featuring the Lord sometime next week, which I don't know what they're going to be, but there's a lot of good stuff on it. We're also getting a bunch of seasonal tickets again, which is always fun, as well as more than 3 orbs and some other goodies. There's some more accessories, a castle theme, a Fae birth, a new game mode that looks like one of those really bad mobile game ads. Yes, you heard that correctly. I'm not repeating myself. And yeah, I think I said it best on stream last night. That is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting.
That's so mean.
I don't care. I'm gonna be mean. And now that we've gone over the brand new Arcanea units, I think it's time we rank the banner on the line graph that may or may not be a line graph at the end of the day. And would you look at that? The brand new Arcanea banner has earned a 10 out of 10. On the line graph. It truly is the hypest and aura-ist banner we've had in a long time. However, is hype and aura enough to save the banner? Is it worth summoning on just for that alone? Probably not. The banner is really cool, but it's not that amazing beyond the hype. It really feels like a banner that was made last year since most of these units really feel outdated. Naga has decent support in okay combat, but she doesn't really excel in either role that much. Meanwhile, Gotoh's biggest contribution is his new B-slot Havoc, which is actually really strong. So if that's worth it to you, then it's not a bad use of orbs. Yeah, and Medeus is there. Attuned Tiki is probably the only exception here since she's just a newer Tamara and a fairly solid frontliner overall. She should be able to beat the new Camilla and Emblem Sigurd too, which is really good. But outside of that and Gotoh's B-slot, the banner is really underwhelming, which if anything is good just for saving orbs or going back into the other banners. But if you want to summon on it purely based on the hype factor, then it's not the worst thing to spend orbs on. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe you should just wait and see what's coming at the end of the month first, or just don't summon at all. That's a pretty good idea. You probably won't be missing out on much of anything TBH, 2BH, to be quite H. I'm British.